Let's introduce ourselves. How about that? I'm Kyle.
And I'm Judit.
And this is a games with friends conversation, I guess. Let's call it. Judit, you have your own YouTube channel.
I do.
And she and I have been talking a lot about Twitter. I'll put a link to that somewhere. We've been talking a lot about the Life is Strange ending, how it ended. Definitely. You haven't finished Life is Strange. I don't know why you're watching this video, but we will spoil everything.
Yeah.
Um, and so we're just going to talk about our feelings on the endings, as it was very divisive, emotional, all the words, all those things.
It definitely will make you feel a lot.
Yes, and I've been wanting to get my thoughts out, and I was like, do I want to write something? I don't know, but then like you and I had this great conversation, and I'm like,
Did.
no, I want to do a video. I want to talk, like, just have this like a two-sided conversation type thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely, when we first started tweeting about it on the direct messaging, it was a very emotional evening just because I had seen your tweet like, oh my gosh, you just finished it. I thought, yeah, he just finished it. You had to have, based on what you had tweeted out. So then when we kind of started discussing it, I kind of felt bad because I know how I felt. I was just torn. Like, it really made me emotional. So I figured you were the same way. That's why I gave you my theory about let's make this more of a beautiful ending instead of a tragic ending.
Yeah, so like, at least for me, I get to the ending and it's the choice: sacrifice Chloe, sacrifice Arcadia Bay, and I stared at it for like a solid over 5 minutes. Like I didn't know what to do. It was like
Yeah.
the hardest decision I've ever had to make in a game, and eventually I went with the sacrifice Chloe. I was devastated afterwards. As that ending was playing, I was like, okay, Chloe's got to be alive. She's like, she can't actually be dead. I kept
Yeah.
expecting her to like she would get shot in, and like the paramedics would come in, and like she'd be saved, and they'd be like in the hospital or something, or even in like the cemetery, I was still like holding out hope. Like,
Yeah.
no, this is Rachel Amber's funeral, right? Like Chloe's still alive. I just wanted a happy ending so badly, and like came away from that not like I just didn't know what to think. Like it definitely wasn't like the happiest ending by any stretch. And then I went back and immediately just went and saw the other ending where you sacrifice Arcadia Bay, and that like I just didn't know what to make of that either, and I was just like all these conflicted feelings.
Yeah. Well, when I played it, I originally went with my heart, which was sacrifice Chloe. And I thought the ending...
We're monsters.
Yeah, I'm terrible. But it gave you more substance. So then, of course, I had to see what the other ending was, and it felt wrong. They didn't seem happy about their choice. And when you think about, okay, they're driving out into the sunset together, but they killed everybody. And I think in the future, they would have not liked that choice so much. I mean, if Planet of the Apes came on television, Warren would pop into their minds. And I think that would, in time, really eat at them.
My thoughts on the endings have definitely progressed from my initial reaction. Like, my initial reaction was like I just wasn't satisfied with either one.
Yeah.
And then, like, I thought about it more, and really it was what you said about initially that really got me to think about the endings in a different way. I don't know, like I don't want to put words in your mouth. Like why don't you just explain how did you view the sacrifice Chloe ending?
I actually thought it was a beautiful ending if you sacrifice Chloe, only because when we first meet Chloe, she is a little selfish, and we learn why she's like that. We learn her behaviors, her fear of abandonment, and we love her for it. She's perfectly imperfect, and we fall totally in love with her. But even when Max is bleeding or blacking out, it's like, yeah, let's play. You got this superpower, let's play. And when I first played it, I was a little annoyed and thinking, oh my god, really? Like, I could be dying here of an aneurysm, and you want to play some more. But as the game progresses, and in that final act, she finally gets that no one has abandoned her, that she was very loved. And even Rachel Amber's spirit was coming back and guiding Max to where her body was, so that way Chloe would know the truth. And then once the body's found, the doe disappears. and there's not that guiding anymore. So I think it really was Rachel Amber saying, yo, Chloe, I totally didn't ditch your ass. I promise. I'm not here anymore, but let me help you guys find me. She constantly says it throughout the game. I feel like I'm being guided. Or even in the scene where they're going to break into the school, I really feel like Rachel Amber's guiding us.
You're right, yeah.
So it's said all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the dialogue really tells you what's going to happen, just like all the graffiti tells you what's going to
Oh my
happen.
God, like looking back on all the graffiti, it's like, it's so there. It's so like right there. Like there's things that say like, you just gotta move on, you gotta let go, just let me die. Like these are all things that are written throughout the game, and you know, as you're just like playing it, you don't think about it, or it's just like, oh, that's just too on the nose, that's just too in your face. No, that really, they were just foreshadowing the sacrifice of the ending.
They were preparing us.
Yeah.
Slowly. Even if you look at the fountain in the very first episode, I read all the graffiti. And it really says, you saw my dad. How, you know, there is something that looks like Chloe's. Yeah, it's right when you walk up to it, read the graffiti. It's like, and then there's a whole bunch of little banter there, but it's hidden. And my theory originally was that the blue butterfly could have been Chloe. And the theory that I proposed to you was it was her spirit that gave Max the powers to give Chloe time.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the spirit just knows, they can foreshadow the future. And it just needed to, that was what Chloe's soul needed, to know she was loved and not abandoned, and to find her friend.
I love the idea that Life is Strange is about getting time with, like, the people you love and, you know, getting a second chance. Mario Geek Remix talked about this. Like, if Chloe had just died originally, you know, she would have died alone, not knowing that people loved her, and you know, Max would have just been filled with this regret because she never reconnected with Chloe. But you know, Life is Strange was about getting that second chance, getting that chance to fall in love and show someone how important they are to you and how much they are loved before they're gone. And feeling loved is such an important thing, and that's what it was about. It's about that love, and Chloe gets the chance to be the ultimate hero. You know, everyone's telling Max throughout the game that, oh, you're a hero. Even in the end, Chloe tells Max that you're my hero.
Yeah.
But in the Sacrifice Chloe ending, it's Chloe's the real hero.
And that was my whole, that she was the everyday hero all along, because throughout the whole game, she is very self-absorbed and selfish in kind of a cool way. She pulls it off really well. But yeah, in the end, her choice was the choice that mattered. All Max's choices never mattered, because it was Chloe who went to Max and said to her, please do this. My mom doesn't deserve to die this way. Even my stepfather doesn't need to die this way.
Stepfather.
But she says it, and it's her choice. And Max, whether you chose to, okay, Max, okay, I'm going to do this. That's why I think she got the beautiful ending, that she was the hero, because her choice mattered in that instance. And throughout the game, Max's choice matters because we don't know what's going to happen.
That's one thing I'm very particular about. I'm very much of the mind that your choices mattered because that's how you remember things. Even if technically they didn't happen because you're in a different timeline, they still matter because, you know, that's how you remember your time with these people. But I do,
that's a very good point. And that's also with the alternate reality, right? Like, we saw what would have happened when nature tried to correct itself. When the universe corrected itself, someone had to die. Or someone had to be hurt.
Right.
And I even noticed that throughout the game, that when you were investigating, all of the information on the crime wall, it was Nathan's car, his SUV, that hit Chloe.
Was it really?
That's what I looked into, because it was red. And when you looked at the pictures, and she even says, a red SUV. Oh, that's something about Nathan. Crazy. I thought, he's the douchebag who hit Chloe in the alternate timeline. So even in that timeline, he tried to take out Chloe.
You know, throughout I love the whole, throughout the game, you know, you're, the whole everyday hero contest is in the background. And like you said, in that ending, you know, Chloe, she becomes the hero, and I was talking with someone about, it wasn't about Life is Strange, but we were talking about death and life and just like weighty topics, as you
Yeah.
do. And you know, this idea got brought up about how it's the little moments in life that matter, and how these small acts of kindness are what make us human. And like that kind of made me like think back to like what makes someone an everyday hero in Life is Strange. And it's like, an everyday hero is not someone who it's not someone who gets these awards or is recognized. It's just like doing these little acts of kindness that you don't get recognized for, but that's what makes you a hero. And Chloe epitomizes that, because in the end, no one's gonna know that she sacrificed everything for them. But that's okay. That kindness is what makes us human. And
But Max knows.
yeah.
So at least if one person recognizes it, then it's so, right? Even throughout the whole game, if you look at Warren's clothes, it's Schrodinger's cat, and he makes a couple of references.
Oh my God, are you really serious?
And that's actually what Schrodinger's cat is about, is
Yeah.
the cat is both dead and alive until you observe it. So you could be in a room by yourself, and of course you feel like you exist, but until someone else observes you, you don't exist. You both exist and don't exist. So when you're observed, you exist,
The amount
right?
of foreshadowing that Don't Nod put into this game is ridiculous. Like even the Schrodinger's cat thing.
I put a lot of deep thought into this game, and there was these little things that I had noticed.
Mm-hmm.
I think my personality is very much like Warren, to where I am a science kind of oriented person. I loved his shirt, the Schrodinger's cat, and the game kind of shows it to you in a way. So the fact that Chloe, maybe not everyone else knew that she was the everyday hero, Max did.
Before we talk about the other ending and other stuff, there was
Yeah.
one last thing. I was reading about the game afterwards, and there's something that Joyce says, Chloe's mother says, in episode 2. She's talking about William, and she says, that was his gift to us, wonderful memories.
Right.
And, it's crazy. That is so applicable to Chloe. That was Chloe's gift to us, like, these wonderful memories.
Yeah,
And
I mean, shooting in the junkyard and really bringing Max out and bringing a little bit of a rebel out in Max, because she's new at this school. Even though it's an old town, she feels a little lonely too. So they're both a lot alike.
and they're just so perfect together.
I know. I had tried to let Warren her, but it just wasn't going, and you just got to roll with it. And I love that the game did that. How many video games do you have two girls falling in love or two guys falling in love? It just goes to show how much the world is growing, and how I love that. Because I know when I was in high school, I would have loved for my gay friends to see this. That if they could get a glimpse into the future, they wouldn't have felt so alone in high school. So I love that the game made Max and Chloe kind of fall in love.
It's such a beautiful story. And it really is. It's all too rare in video games to see a story of two women falling in love, and it's so beautiful. And it felt so natural, and it's so artfully told.
Yeah, and it wasn't forced. Like no matter how hard you tried, Warren got denied.
They said, Ashley Burch and Hannah Tell, Chloe and Max's voice actresses, they had such incredible chemistry together.
They did, and just even by the voices and just seeing it on the game, it was beautiful, and you really wanted them together. You wanted them to go into the sunset together. You wanted them to have their happily ever after together.
Speaking of that transition, the Sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending. As I said earlier, I wasn't satisfied after I saw this ending initially, and there's been all this, lots of people have been talking about, what's the true ending? What's the real ending? What's the canon ending? And as the days went by, I realized, at least for me, I really don't like that. For me, neither ending is the true ending. Neither ending is the real ending, and I don't like trying to parse which one's more real. And, the Don't Nod development, it's clear more time was, there was more time spent on the Sacrifice Chloe ending. Like, I'll just say that because I mean,
Yeah.
it's a longer ending, but I don't think that makes the other ending less true or less real because for me, as just time went by, I came to understand that ending, at least in a personal way. Like, at first you think, oh, that's such a selfish. At least I thought that's such a selfish thing. I couldn't see myself doing that or Max doing that. But then you think, like, put it in terms of like someone like I love so much. Like, if I
Yeah.
was given that choice, and there's just this idea that to the world you might be one person, but to one person you might mean the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and when at least when I think about it like that other ending becomes so emotional because I can see like maybe some people would say it's awful to sacrifice a town for one person, but to Max, like Chloe could like depending on how you see her character, Chloe could be everything, and like Chloe's just like if there's someone that you can't even imagine your life without them,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like it makes me understand that ending and understand like that's like an it's an I'm like trying to skirt around saying it's an okay thing to do because you are letting lots of people die, but like in a way, like it's understandable. Like it's understandably selfish, I think at least.
And I
I
think
don't know.
it's they're both endings are valid. I mean, if you're Max, right? That would be like a horrible choice to have to make. For me, when I saw that ending, I kept thinking about the promise we made to Warren. And it broke my heart just seeing his face, knowing that she's going to pick Chloe. I am so done, and it broke my heart. So when I saw that ending, I thought of all the characters like Kate. She had started being so happy, after her suicide attempt. If you saved her,
Yeah.
which I had. So,
Same.
I just started thinking of all these characters that I had felt so close to that their deaths made me feel extremely torn on what to choose.
Hmm.
So that's where my favorite ending is the drawn out ending where Chloe is sacrificed. And I kind of liked giving her the hero ending to whereas in the other one
Well,
it
like
just felt
I don't
empty.
want to make this about like I said, I don't want to
No,
make
no,
this
no, no.
about like which one's better.
Yeah. For me, it just felt so sad in a way because as they're leaving town, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like I don't know. Either the game does a really good job in guilt tripping, just based on their reactions. Because I felt terrible. I just thought, as I said, I thought about all the other characters, and not that that ending is the wrong ending,
Hmm.
because life is in itself so complicated that there's not always a good choice for something. Sometimes you just have to go with your heart, and in that ending, Max did. And let's hope that they had their happily ever after. And the fact that it was just them driving off into the sunset and nothing else, I think allows you to make what else happened to them.
Right. Because like
You can make up your own fan fiction or whatever to how they have their ending. So in that way, they could still have their happy ever end.
like I think like in that way like both endings still like emulate real life because like in the
Yeah,
Sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending like life never ends like I mean there's death but life for everyone else still goes on and like in that
yeah,
ending like there's nothing concrete because life's just gonna keep going on they're gonna have their lives and whatever's gonna happen is just out there and
yeah.
I don't know and it's just as the days gone by I think more like part of like I just want them to be happy together and it's like I think that part of that's part of why like I just like I'm thinking more and more about like yeah they're gonna be filled with guilt in the days weeks months even years after but I think it's just like that chance to find that the chance to find the person that just makes you feel whole
Yeah.
it's so hard to like give that up and like in that ending they have it and I just like I'm like just thinking about the things that can many lives were cut short but so many other possibilities were also opened up in a lot of ways like that ending is like just a big like fuck you to fate and I like that you still like that the game like still gives you that option like like Chloe frames it as I have to accept my fate and just die, but it's not. You're still given, like, even in that moment, you're still given the choice, and
Yeah.
you can still say no. We're gonna choose to live how we're gonna live, and
It's a game that definitely makes you think, and I loved all theories and watching the theory videos, and just I've never seen a game have that much theory and
Mhm.
people just buzzing about here's what's going to happen, or let's see if this happens, or Rachel Amber is this, or
Yeah, I
I
loved so
loved it.
much being a part of that community, from
Me too.
episode to episode. It elevated the entire experience, sometimes, like when The Walking Dead, Telltale's The Walking Dead was coming out, I didn't play it episode to episode because, like, I'll just play it when it all comes out. I want to play it in one go, and that's how
Yeah.
normally that's how I was, like, gonna play this game. But then I played the first episode and was like, oh my god, this is amazing, and started getting involved with the community, and it just would not have been the same experience not playing it in the moment.
Yeah. See, I was lucky that I didn't get into it until episode 3 was already out, so I got to just go, and I was just like, oh my god, I love this so much. Oh my god, I love this so much. And then I have a whole notebook full of theories of my own, and then I saw theory videos pop up, and I was like, ooh,
I'm
people are
s-
thinking like I am. This is fantastic.
in so many games that, like, have multiple endings, I normally, just have my ending, and I'm like, okay, that's my ending. That's what it is for me. I don't really, I usually don't care maybe I'll see other endings, but they don't necessarily affect me that much. But, like, with this one, for me, like, it's like I've never had the experience where, like, both endings for me so much inform my understanding of this game, and, like, if someone asked me what my ending was, I wouldn't know what to tell them. I wouldn't. I haven't, like, and I don't know if I ever will decide which is my ending. Like, I could see Life is Strange having, like, in some alternate world where, like, there isn't an ending decision and Don't Nod just went with one or the other. I could
Yeah.
see either ending, still feeling like the game was complete with that ending alone. Have you played The
And
Last of Us? Oh, sorry. I don't. Were you?
The
If you were,
Last of Us, yes.
that ending reminded me so much of. Okay, spoilers for The Last of
For
Us.
The Last
Sorry.
of Us.
If you haven't played that, you
We're gonna
should.
spoil 2 games.
But I'll put, like, a little. There'll be a note if you want to skip. If you don't want to hear spoilers for The Last of Us, skip to a time on the video that'll be on screen. But the Sacrifice Arcadia Bay ending reminded me of The Last of Us's ending, in, like, the sense that, like, what Joel did by killing all those people and saving Ellie.
Yeah.
A lot of people would be like, that was the wrong choice. That was a bad thing that he did. But for him, I just, like, there's no way he would have ever made a different choice. Like, he had gone through so much loss and so much hardship that he needed this person. He needed Ellie, and he couldn't go through that loss again. And so that, like, even though, like, he's hurting people by doing this, he's also, like, he's saving one person and giving the two of them a life. And so, like, I don't know, it reminded me so much of that ending, and yeah, I don't know.
No, and it's very much like it's similar because I mean he lost his daughter.
Hmm.
So of course, psychologically, are you not going to try to save this child no matter what? Absolutely. And I think even when you look at Max and Chloe, they lost each other.
Hmm.
You know, when someone moves away and kind of gets in on their own lives, and yes, Chloe felt abandoned by Max, and I think Max had a lot of guilt, especially once they started hanging out with each other again, because she says it all the time. And even when she goes back and fixes and kind of is like, yeah, okay, gotta kill your dad again, sorry, but no matter what I do, if I go away and become, just not such a great friend, just know that I'm never abandoning you.
Hmm.
So it's like she's trying
Oh
to
god, that moment was heartbreaking. It was like, no matter what, like, when she's telling Chloe, no matter what happens, I'm here for you. It was like,
that ripped
it's
at
so
my heart. I
heartbreaking.
wanted to cry so bad
Because
at
you
that.
know that, like it's not going to change the fact that Max is still going to leave, but, like, it's just so sad.
And then she has to lose her dad
Yeah.
again. yet she's not going to know it, but we know it. So to see how his death affected her the first time, and then to see what happens to Chloe because he survived, it's just like, oh, it's like, what do you do? And then, of course, there's that choice where she's like, okay, just do me in. Go get my morphine. And I knew it when she's like, go get my morphine because my parents don't think I can get it. I'm like, oh, no. I know what she's going to ask of me. Damn. I went through and looked at every little thing I could in that house, had every single bit of dialogue I could, just to prevent from going into the bathroom.
God.
And getting that morphine pump for her.
And like, no matter what, this game to me is like, it's about realizing how important the people you love are to you, and it's about like spending time with them, and it's like, it's like made me like have to like come to terms with more like this game has made me come to terms with my mortality at a very young age.
Yeah.
Like what? But I joke, but like not really like it's made me want to spend time with my like the people I love.
Yeah. And the younger you are, you kind of, unless you face life and death issues every day, you kind of don't think about it. You just go on with life and you hang out with your friends and you do your thing. And then the older you get, and the more your friends start disappearing, or the more that your loved ones start having their own lives. Mm-hmm. And then you're left there, and all you have is your friends, or the new friends you've made, and then they start dying. It kind of makes you realize, well, my time is going to end sometime soon. Whereas the younger you are, you kind of don't tend to think that way. And I'm glad that the game kind of does address some of these issues, like losing a parent. Mm-hmm. Not many people know what that feels like till much later in life. And how would you react to having such a loss? And Chloe knows that all too well. So some of these deeper issues that are ingrained in the game are just mind-blowing. And the things that these teenagers have to deal with are just like, oh my gosh, it's a crazy school to be a part of. But it's almost every high school.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like it's such a truthful game. Like it really, the writers at Don't Nod had like really had this commitment to showing life as it really was, because loss and death and bullying and all this other stuff are things that happen to so many people. And like I went into episode 1 expecting like escapism, and I got I didn't get that, and it made me so sad. But like it was such a powerful experience for that,
And they did a good job with character development, because even the characters you kind of start off not liking based on Max's impressions of them, as the game goes on, you understand why they're like that. Mm-hmm. Like, I felt so much more sympathy towards Nathan reading those emails from his family. Mm-hmm. And even just it made me think of the first thing he says, why is everybody trying to control me? I'm so sick of everybody trying to control me. It's like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's a lot of pressure to be that wealthy, to have such a successful family, and then be probably expected to live that life. Mm-hmm. And that might not have been the life he wanted. So if he wanted an artistic career, his father probably would not have allowed that. That's not the family business.
Yeah. No one has a normal life, whatever normal is. We all have these. Everyone has issues.
Yeah. And even just knowing Victoria's issues, she's not just a mean girl. She's got so much more depth, and once you realize her pressures, it's easier to sympathize with her and try to, warn her. And
yeah, it's like everyone worries about what other people think of them, and Max, she's just like, the way it affects her, she's just quiet. Yeah. Other people, it affects them in different ways. Like Victoria is very external about it, and it's just sorry.
Oh, sorry, what?
It just addresses all these like elements that are so central to the experience of growing up that everyone has dealt with.
And they do a good job at that, because I think we've all known these characters. We've all been them at one point or another. And I think even just understanding the topics that these kids are going through, like I mentioned, being a teenager is always going to be the same, except for, in this case, technology really changes things up.
Yeah, like God, I relate to so many of the characters. Like it was I this was the first time I really saw, my own life experiences depicted in a video game. Like people I've known, like the way I've dealt with things and my own high school experience. I saw very specific things recreated in this game for the first time, and it was so wonderful to have that affirmation. Like, yes, there are other people that like are awkward, or there are other people that don't know how to talk to girls or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's so realistic in the way they form their characters. The characters are deep. They're not just, I'm the bad girl, or I'm the hipster, or I'm this. You
Yeah.
get to know everyone. Even Kate, she's not just the religious person, and just what is done to her just broke my heart. I was just like, even when they first throw the paper at her, I'm just like, my heart's breaking. And just as the game goes on, you see what's happening to Kate and why it happened, and it just makes you feel for her so much. And that's something I haven't really experienced in a game for quite some time, feeling something for the characters.
And it's like it made it so personal, and they weren't afraid to make these characters real people and to give them issues, and that in a way it necessitated the endings that we got. Like there couldn't be a fancy ending where everyone works out, because in life everything doesn't work out.
No, it's
And
like in The Fault in Our Stars, where she likes the book because it just stops in mid-sentence. And in life, you could just drop dead in the middle of a sentence, right? So that's where the endings are very much like life. Sure, if Chloe died, you'd go to her funeral, and, that would be very realistic to life. People would mourn you, and that's very realistic. Or if you go the other way and go into the sunset, that's realistic too, where you're driving it off with the person you love. So it's just such a fabulous game, and it just connected with me on such a deep level. And I would go to bed thinking of the game I played, or thinking just deeper things about the game world that they had created, how realistic it really was.
God, just a game has never stuck with me as much as like Life is Strange has. Like days later, like days later, I was still thinking about it after the game ended.
Yeah.
Like, I think Life is Strange is such an emotionally complex game that it takes time for it to really all sink in. Like the day after I finished it, I was just like the day after I finished it, I still could not. It was still completely on my mind. I couldn't even focus on my work. It was 11 o'clock at night, and I couldn't go to sleep. So, I decided to walk around my neighborhood at 11 o'clock at night. I'm wearing a hoodie. It's 11 o'clock at night. There aren't many streetlights. I probably look frightening to anyone else right now. But it was just so on my mind. As I'm just walking around my neighborhood, I just start crying as I'm thinking about it, because it was just just the depth of the feelings finally started to sink in, of how beautiful and tragic everything is, and how real to life it is. And it's just it's only the second game I've ever played to actually make me cry.
No, and when you watch other people's Let's Plays, they're crying
Yeah.
too, so you don't feel alone. You don't feel like, I'm such a mess, and I'm alone playing this game by my lonesome, and I'm a mess. You listen to those Let's Plays, and you can hear the sobbing in the background. And I think that's really touching, because, oftentimes video games are just, like you said, they're to escape. But this game reels you in so much to where you actually feel like you're a part of them. We're observing and we're playing as Max, but we kind of feel like it's voyeuristic. We're kind of, experiencing from our own point of view in our own life and what happened in our lives to connect with each player. We can totally just be like, oh, that's so me, and I can relate to Chloe, and I can relate to this. Like for me, I could relate to losing a parent. Very early in life, I lost my father, so I related to Chloe big time, and I was like, yeah, let's go save Daddy, And then what happened to Chloe? I was like, oh, so is it worth it? Do you save one life? And it kind of prepares you for the ending.
To make that decision.
Yeah, do you save one life? But there's a proverb that I had heard that if you save one life, you're responsible for that life. And even if you just save one, that's like a miracle in itself.
If you can save one life, you're a hero.
Yeah. So it's one of these games that you can think about it in so many different ways.
Every once in a while, like a game comes around that it reminds me like why I love video games and why I want to work in games.
Yeah.
And Life is Strange is absolutely that. Like it is such a unique and beautiful experience, and it's like, yes, this is why I love video games. This is why I'll stay up late at night talking to people about them and like thinking about them all day. And it's just, I'm so glad this game was made. I'm excited to go back and play through the game again. I've yet to do that.
Oh, I did that just before number 5. My third game slot was just to play it from episode 1 to 5. I was impressed with my gaming marathon. I thought,
Nice.
It's tight. It's going to be tight, especially since I got it on the 19th. Started downloading. I was like, I got to finish this. And I didn't sleep well the night before the game was released because I was too excited.
Yeah.
Of course, then I'm playing the game. It's like, who needs sleep? I played it all the way through, stayed up all day, all night, and then I'm like going on Twitter and talking to people about the ending, and it's like
the latest I've stayed up this semester hasn't been for like a paper or a test or anything. It was for Life is Strange.
And then I couldn't go to sleep because it's like, oh crap, now I know.
Yeah.
I gotta go talk to somebody.
Seriously, it's like I need human contact.
I gotta find out what other people are thinking.
I'm too emotional right now.
Really good. And then I was direct messaging other people, and I thought, okay, I feel better. My anxiety is going down.
The world is not ending.
I'm not being a complete marshmallow here. Other people are just as impacted by the ending and still are. Like, I think of it and it's still, whoa. It's one of those games that I don't think will ever leave you because of the impact that it made. And it's one of those first games that kind of do it in such a way.
Is there anything you else wanted to add? I think I've said
No, I think it was just so well done, and I'm so glad that they made the game, and I'm so glad that it built such a great community onto the internet, and people were so supportive of the developers, and I love that Donut. After every episode was going to come out, or people had theories about, it's going to be released on this day, they kept tweeting every single person that would be at Donut. They'd be like, oh, sorry. They tweeted every single person back. How many game companies?
They're amazing. They're such incredible people. It makes me sad that like I've heard like rumors that it's not selling well and that they're like struggling financially. If you just like go convince your friends to buy Life is Strange. If you watch the Let's Plays, if you only watch Let's Plays, go buy at least like the first episode. Give them some money. Go convince your friends to play this because they deserve all the success in the world.
And not only do I have it on Steam, but I have it on my PS4 too. So I have bought the game a couple of times.
Nice.
Because it's like, well, if someone's on the computer, I still got to be able to play it on my PS4. If my daughter's on Netflix, I'm still at my computer playing Life is Strange. So, and it's a game that's worth it. Like, I would totally buy this game for
$20. It is like it's the best $20 you're gonna spend on a video game. Like,
absolutely.
Oh my god.
Plus, it made me go get the other game, Remember Me.
I haven't played Remember Me yet, but I
have it downloaded. I need to get a controller though for my computer. So.
It was great talking to you.
It was great talking to you, too. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this. This was fabulous.
Absolutely. This was, it was so nice to actually talk to someone in person about this game. Oh, just all these feelings pent up.
So now, with Halloween coming and Christmas and all that, everybody has to go buy some game, game and gift it to someone.
This is the Christmas gift of the year.
Yep.
Your
go
friends,
on Steam. And gift it to one of your friends.
Buy your loved ones and friends Life is Strange. They may hate you for how emotional it will make them, but it'll be worth it.
But then you can talk to them about it. So.
Where can people find you, Judit?
Judit Campbell pretty much is my YouTube name, and same thing with @Judit Campbell.
All right.
On Twitter.
There will be links in the description. You can obviously follow me on Twitter @TotallyKyle95 and subscribe to Games with Friends for more great content like this. And if you haven't watched it yet, I interviewed Luc Vagadouche and Raoul Barbet, the producer and co-creative director of Life is Strange. So go watch that interview. There'll also be a link somewhere.